Alright, what's up, y'all? So I wanted to come out here. I know I've done a video on this before, but I'm gonna do a video on it again while I'm taking care of the business right quick. Where my bucket at? See, this is stuff I be talking about. Oh, here it is. Looking for my little bucket. So I wanted to talk to y'all about water again. That's probably one of the few things that I never really talk about on my channel. Whew. Let me lean over into this air real quick. Ooh, the breeze is real. Okay, oh, that's enough of that. Okay, so, Wasp, you're gonna have to get out the way. Thank you. Move around. I know you're trying to get a drink. Wait, let me. Wasp. Anyway, so this is what I wanted to show y'all. Wait a minute. See, these wasps is getting to be a bit much for me. Like, see, y'all asking for me to set y'all afire. See, because I'll throw some little gas on you and light a match. You're fooling with the wrong one. Alright, y'all, so I want to talk about your watering system, rain watering bills, and I just got water all in my head. Anyway, and sustainable watering practices. So now this is probably only going to apply for those who are in hot climates. The hotter the climate, I would venture to say it's even better for you to do it. For instance, if you live in the desert, you'll be the first person I would tell to do this. If you live in the south or any part of the world that reaches night regularly, y'all see the water just went there. If you live anywhere where it reaches 90 to 100 degrees regularly, this is going to be something that I recommend for you, especially if you live somewhere where you pay your own water bill. Now, for those people that their water bill is included in rent, what have you, this might not be as consequential for you. So you might be wondering what I'm talking about. So this is free water. This water is absolutely free. It costs me absolutely nothing. And the only thing you have to have in order to get this water is an air conditioning system. A central air conditioning unit. Well, you actually can have a window unit too. If you ever pay attention, your window units do drip water. If you put a bucket under that drop and catch that water, that would be beneficial to you. Now, let me go ahead and throw this out here. You're going to have people that's going to say, well, the air conditioner water is acidic and it's going to hurt your plants and it's going to kill your stuff. And what I say to them is if you're not going to actually do an experiment and water something and show me what you're talking about, I'm really not here for it. And what I mean is this. Y'all see my pineapples? Y'all see the poke? I mean, y'all seen my garden before. If you've watched me before. If you haven't watched me, go back and look at my garden. Y'all see the tree collards, the tomatoes, the ground cherries. I mean, all of this stuff is purposeful stuff. This ain't wild stuff. Now, that stuff out there is wild. I don't water that. Turmeric, peanuts, moringa, papayas, bananas. I mean, my little seedling area. Everything in my garden is watered with this water. So if this water is acidic and it's bad for your plants and it makes your stuff not productive, go over to my harvest videos and tell my harvest videos that. So, and I don't even harvest like most people do on YouTube. Most people on YouTube do this crazy stuff like what commercial harvesters do, commercial farmers rather do, and harvest all their stuff at once. When real people back in the day when they gardened, you harvested at the peak of ripeness. I'm not necessarily knocking nobody. It's just that's why y'all don't see me with these huge baskets of stuff. I harvest my stuff as I use it. I like to cook with the freshest ingredients, meaning I just went out there and picked it 2 minutes ago. Like, that's the way I like. Because even when I go to restaurants, I can tell when the stuff is old. I can tell when you've had it back there for a month. You know what I'm saying? So, what I'm going to say about this air conditioner water is all these claims that it's acidic. You can get a simple pH test. They have pH tests that you can buy at the hardware store that you usually use for groundwater and things of that nature. You can simply get that pH test. You can see how much water comes out of there and how fast it comes out and how often. And you can test the pH. Now, let me tell you what this water is, because I don't want nobody to think that this is water that actually, like your air conditioning system actually creates water, or that the Freon or something is in it. No. What this is when the warm air, the warm humid air passes over the coils of your air conditioner that are cold because of the coolant, it creates condensation. It's just like when you have a cold drink and you sit it on something and you notice there's condensation on the outside of the glass. It's exactly the same thing in your air conditioner. This is condensate. So this is simply water from the atmosphere that condensed onto the coils, and then your air conditioner, it either drips it somewhere or pumps it out somewhere. Now, most people, they don't know where the water goes to, or it drips under their house or something like that. And that's usually why this source of water usually escapes you, because you never thought about it, because you don't really, it's not something you see every day. Thankfully, let me see if y'all can see. Can y'all see that pipe right there? Thankfully, my air conditioner, they ran the pipe outside, and it's easy for me to catch it like that. But it's easy for you to find your condensate. There's always like a PVC line. You see how fast this is dripping? It's very, very humid here. It's 70 something percent humidity, and it's like 95 or 96. I'm standing in the shade. But anyway, there's going to be a PVC plumbing line that's going to carry that water away from your system. Nowadays, they usually use a pump. That's why you see mine actually pumps out and bursts. It doesn't just drip out. But either way it goes, in my opinion, it would behoove you to do this. Why? Sustainable gardening. Does it make sense for you to run your water bill up? You know, because depending on where you stay, water may be very expensive. If I had to guess, I would guess that water in the desert areas is high because water is at a scarcity. I mean, that's simple economics, supply and demand. Like, there's a demand for water, but there's not much supply because you're in the desert. So I would assume that those areas, your water bill is probably way higher than mine. You know, I think I pay $25, $30 for water every month. But I know that's probably not the case for everybody. Also, where you live, you know, what state you live in, the cost of living of water is going to be higher. So if at all possible, it would behoove you to find out where that pipe is and collect that water. Now, how you go about collecting that water, there's many ways to do it. I'm going to be honest, believe it or not, the people who installed my air conditioning system, they already knew about it, because it was other people, they say they go to their houses and their garden, and those people specifically request, hey, can you run that line somewhere where I could collect this water? Because when he saw my garden, he was like, you want me to put it to where you can collect that water? And I looked at him cross-eyed, like, huh? He was like, yeah, you got a garden. He was like, we've done other people's like that. So, you know, especially if you get a new AC or you have your AC serviced or something like that, ask your AC man, you know, or if you know somebody pretty handy, you know, they can find a line. It's not that hard. I mean, it's just a PVC pipe. Like I said, it's probably running outside somewhere, just running on the ground. Or it's running under your house if you got a house on piers like I do. If you're on slab, it's not going to be under the ground. If it's on slab, it's running outside somewhere. So just, you know, look for that super green area that's always wet in your yard. So, so not only does it help keep your water bill down, because let me tell you this. I'm going to show y'all this. This holds, I want to say this holds 30 or 40 gallons. This holds 30 or 40 gallons worth of water. Just about every day that gets filled up. So you think about it. And I live in the South, and I mean, I don't run my air half as hard as other people. Some people have their air on 75, 72. Some people have their air on 68. You know, I don't run my air that hard. My air's on 78. So think about how much water you're probably missing out on. Like I said, it's morning time, and this is 2/3 of the way full. So, you know, and every day I'm gonna show you how much water it takes to water my garden every day. Now, it did rain yesterday, but every day it takes this whole 55-gallon tub to water my garden every day. 55 gallons, that's what it takes. So, and it doesn't rain here every day. So if I was to just sit around and be like, oh, I'm just going to wait for it to rain, my stuff would, number one, burn up. Number two, it would be very cost inefficient for me to be watering with city water. Another thing is city water has chlorine in it. If you don't let that water sit, I don't recommend you use city water straight out of the hose because of the chlorine. I recommend you put it in something and let it sit and let all the chlorine evaporate out of it, because that chlorine actually does drop the pH. It's just like a swimming pool. Would you water your plants with swimming pool water? Granted, swimming pool water has more chlorine in it than city water, but still, I don't ever. When I stopped, I did a video about why I don't get blight and all that kind of stuff like other people. And I noticed I stopped getting blight the minute I stopped using city water straight out the hose. So I don't really recommend anymore to use city water straight out the hose for that reason, because basically you're watering your plants with a very, very dilute solution of bleach. And I think the good bacteria that naturally lives on plants, just like there is good bacteria on your skin that eats bad stuff, I think when you use that very dilute bleach water from the city, you're basically rinsing off all the good bacteria that eat the bad bacteria, and then you leave a sterile, pristine place for things like blight to start growing. So I very rarely have blight. I had squash this whole season. I think I saw maybe 4 or 5 leaves with blight on it. Those leaves quickly died, and the rest of the plant is perfectly fine. I never had any serious issues with blight. Now maybe other people have other situations, scenarios, whatever, but that's my experience. But I laid that out in the video, so feel free to go look up that video where I talk about that. So yeah, like I said, without this water, my rainwater collection system would be empty in, just a few days. So your AC water is your friend. It's free water. It's a way to be sustainable when gardening. It's a way to use a water source that's often overlooked, and it's nothing wrong with the water. It's perfectly fine. But yeah, so if anybody got any questions, any comments, anything in the comment section, I thought I'd mention this again because I've mentioned it before. I don't think that video got many views. I think people were skeptical of that, but it is what it is. If you out here trying to get it, like I'm trying to get it, y'all better use this water. But anyway, until next time, see you guys later.